The first question is asking about sourcing. It says, who was the audience of this document? I kind of already gave you that answer already. And if you look at the top, it says this is an interview by U.S. newspapers. So again, who is the audience for this interview? Americans. Okay. And since this is a speech for Americans, anyone have any idea how this would affect what this message he tries to deliver? Exactly. Everyone get that? You're gonna try to be, since he's doing an interview, it's the very first one, under document A, for sourcing. Since it's an interview for Americans, that means he's gonna be more friendly and open and talk about, yay, we'll be partners. Does he mean it? That's for you guys to decide later. Okay. Any other questions so far? Nope, okay. So, the second box is for contextualization, which means what is going on in Cuba at the time. Any ideas? If you're unsure, there's also a timeline on the back of document A that shows you. So, this speech was given in 1959. So what's happening right now in Cuba, according to this timeline at least? What just happened the year before? First was something else. It says December 31st. What happened? So just the year before, in December 31st, 1958, Batista fled, Castro took over Cuba. Okay. And then during this, so that's what's happening right now. Does anyone know what other events is happening in America at this time? Anyone? Fidel Castro just took over power for like, there was a big event between the USSR and America. Cold War. So that's the big event happening in America. Again, how would this affect how Cuba talks to America? You got to remember, when he first visited, there were cheering crowds for him. People applauded him. They thought he was going to be great. He thought they weren't going to be an issue. They didn't know they were going to use a kick out the American business people. Any ideas why this matters?
I guess he was trying to choose the correct words to not make his country seem like a threat to the U.S.
Exactly. Because remember, this is where the Cold War is happening, where America and Russia are basically almost about to start World War III. And they don't want that to happen because it's capitalism versus communism. So Castro at this point, not really admitting that he's a communist, even though he's electing communist officials and putting them in places of power, he has yet to declare that he's openly communist, and he's saying that he's willing to work with America in this speech. So if you look at this document, how do you think, if you just read just this article, how do you think Fidel Castro feels about America? Anyone?
Feels cautious.
A little cautious, but what else? How does he seem to be talking about America? Exactly. He's very friendly at this, which is, he did on purpose because he was a great politician. He knew how to capture people's attention and hearts, so he was able to take over the whole country. And like I said,
I got to meet someone who got to listen to him live, one of my professors from Cal State Fullerton. He did a lot of work with the United Nations. And Fidel Castro was the guest speaker at something in Canada that they ended up doing some sort of forum, because in the 90s he was not allowed to come to the United States. So he was coming, and he said that Fidel Castro spoke for 4 hours, and the whole audience was like this the whole time, just like captivated. So from what I hear from first-hand accounts is that he was amazing when it came to reading his audience, reading the room. He could always adjust his tone and his message to who was in the room. He could get anyone to follow him anywhere. He was talented, right?
You see that in the interview. He's saying exactly what Americans want to hear. He's saying, I welcome America. You guys are great. The ambassador of working is a great person. I want to work with Eisenhower. It's not my fault Eisenhower doesn't want to work with me.
Yeah. That's in short what he's saying. I like that part at the end that Rosalind read. I'll speak to any citizen, any big citizen, any small citizen. It's like, I'm just a regular guy. Kind of what the meaning behind his words are.
Okay, so before we go on to number 5, we'll go over document B. Does anyone else want to try reading?
We have a microphone. Oh, perfect. We got a volunteer.
Wait, what was it for?
Number 4 is to a friendly caution and open with America. You ready? Everyone else ready for document B? Okay, go ahead.
Castro made his speech in Havana,
Yes.
Cuba on May 1st, 1971. May 1st is International Workers' Day, a celebration of the working class commanded by labor
Advocates,
advocates and
leftists. Yes.
women.
If you want to keep going, you can.
The Americans spoke of elections. What elections did they want? The revolution expressing the will of the people. Election every day, not every 4 years. Stating constantly meeting people like this meeting before. Politicians could never have gathered as many votes as there are people here tonight to support the revolution. If Mr. Kennedy does not like socialism, well, we do not like